Delegation. I said, even when Bill's business was still very small, with just one employee, it was possible to see a very important idea being used. This idea is called delegation. This means giving a subordinate the authority to perform particular task. It is very important to remember that it is the authority to perform a task which is being delegated, not the final responsibility. So if the job is done badly by the subordinate, then it is the manager who has to accept the responsibility for this. So for delegation, it means you are giving someone the authority to act on your behalf. But that does not mean that person has the final responsibility. So whatever happens, if it turns out to be that the responsibility or the job done by that individual or subordinate is poor, then you have to take responsibility. Yes. Do you understand? That's why it said delegation is not a responsibility. It's just an authority to act on your behalf. So whatever happens still comes back to the manager. I think that is clear. So what are the advantages of delegation for the manager? Managers cannot do every job themselves, as we have seen. It becomes very difficult for Bill to control all of the running of Caustic Corner by himself. By delegating, he was able to concentrate his time on other important management functions. So one of the advantages of delegation is that it allows you to focus on other things. And because you cannot be everywhere, you can't do everything. Yeah. So with delegation, responsibility is shared. With delegation, job function is shared, maybe not responsibility.
Yeah,
clear?
Yeah.
2. Managers are less likely to make mistakes if some of the tasks are performed by their subordinates. So if managers are not having a lot of workload, they might likely not make mistakes. So the mistakes of managers might reduce because they don't have a lot of workload. Yes. The third one, managers can measure the success of their staff more easily. They can see how well they have done in performing the tasks delegated to them. So it allows you to be able to measure the performance of your subordinate or your workers. Because you'll be able to know, oh, if I've given you a certain job to do and you did it well, that means you are an effective employee. So you can measure. Now, what are the advantages of delegation for the subordinates? Number 1, the work becomes more interesting and rewarding. So when you are given that authority to act on your manager's behalf, it means you have been doing it well. So that shows a reward for the effort you've put into the job for the years you've been working with them. If you are not doing well, no manager would trust you and entrust you with functions.
Yes.
Do you understand? Yes. The second point, the employee feels more important and believes that trust is being put in them to perform a job well. So if you are given authority to perform, or if you are given authority to act on your mind. Advantages of delegation for the subordinates. The work becomes more interesting and rewarding, which means because as a subordinate, when you are being given authority to act on the behalf of your manager, it means the efforts you've been putting through the job becomes rewarding for you. It means that it is noticed. That's why they could tell you to act on your manager's behalf. Yes. 2, the employee feels more important and believes that the trust is being put in them to perform a job well. So employees become happy about this. It motivates them. How? Because they feel like, oh, the company or their managers can trust them. That means if your manager cannot trust you, if he cannot trust you, he can't entrust you with functions that are strategic to the organization. The third one, delegation helps to train workers and they can then make progress in the organization. It gives them career opportunities. Delegation also makes workers to become managers. It trains them to become managers or better managers. Yeah. So in the future, they might become managers, but with the responsibility they have had during the years would help them.
So it's job enrichment, right?
Yes, job enrichment, yes. It could be job enrichment.
Yeah.
It's job enrichment, yes. So it gives them more opportunity, career opportunity, which is good for them. So why might a manager not delegate? So what are the problems managers do encounter that makes them not want to delegate? Despite the advantage of delegation, there are some managers who are reluctant to delegate. Some may be afraid that the subordinates might fail and the managers want to control everything by themselves. Also, there's a risk that the subordinates might do a better job than the manager. This could make the manager feel very insecure. So managers don't want to delegate one of the reasons why they don't want to delegate is that they are afraid that workers or the subordinates might fail in the task. And if the subordinate fails in that task, the responsibility is on the manager, not the subordinate.
Yeah.
Another reason why managers do not want to delegate is that they might feel insecure, especially if the subordinate does the job well. So their position is threatened. That's what they feel. So they don't want to give the job to subordinates.
Yes.
Because directors might see that and feel like, oh, this guy does it better than the manager. Then they take up their position. So they don't want to lose their position.
Yes, yes.
I think it's clear.
Yeah.
Is that all about delegation?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll stop here.